in English, and today we are gonna discuss a few things about research. Basically, the topic of discussion for today is uh, how can we find a researchable topic? So for this reason, I have been invited here, and I'm going to share some slides with you, and we are going to discuss them, and we will have this journey together. It will be a kind of interactive session, and talk if you have any queries at any time. So that is just about the introduction. Now, can you see the screen? Is the screen visible to all of you?
Yes, doctor, we can see.
All right, thank you. So the topic of discussion for today is finding a researchable topic. And it is something which most of the times usually students at different levels, whether they are students at undergraduate level or they are students or scholars at graduate level, let's say PhD students or MPhil scholars, usually they stumble, and this is something which they believe is really difficult because they do not have any idea about where to get their topics from and how should they select their topics. And it is something and make it very easily understandable to all of you, to all the participants, it with you and colleagues, with the ones who are currently in their journeys of either undergraduate studies or postgraduate studies, right? So before we jump into this discussion of finding a researchable topic, we need to understand why research tasks are assigned. That is the basic thing that we need to understand. So the research paper, and one thing more, before we start this, we need to understand it whenever I will be using the term research paper or research thesis or research similar, right? So all the participants should take this note that they can take this term according to their level of research, whether they are writing their PhD thesis or they are writing a research paper or whatever. So it applies to anything which is related to research. All right. So the research paper is a demonstration of your ability to gather and interpret, organize, and report ideas with objectivity, honesty, and clarity. The exercise will sharpen four spatial skills. Now, when research tasks they are assigned, let's say we are in the postgraduate journey, somebody is doing their PhD, they are in their PhD study. So the first thing that which should hit your mind is, why am I asked to write a research thesis? Why have I been assigned this task of writing my research thesis and my research in the longer journey? So the answer to this is that it is actually the institution and your supervisor is giving you the chance to to gather information, uh, right? And then after collecting the information, he is giving you the chance to interpret it in the way that you like to interpret according to a given framework or a given methodology, and organize them again according to the given methodology or the given framework. And then you also are given the chance to report your ideas, right? And but one thing is there, and it should be kept in mind, and that is the element of objectivity. Whenever we are assigned tasks of research, let's say we are asked to write our PhD thesis or MPhil thesis or write a research paper, the most important thing is objectivity. We should never bring our emotions into the discussion. We should never our opinions into the discussion unless and until it is needed. So it should be something objective. Along with this, whenever we will be interpreting the ideas and organizing them and reporting them, so we should do it honestly. There should be no academic theft. There should be no, no dishonesty. There should be no, uncertainty about things where you are not clear about an idea and a given methodology or a given framework, and still you are talking about it. So this is something which is not honest, which comes in the domain of lies. And another thing, that is the element of clarity. So we should be very clear and very precise whenever we are talking about something, we are conducting our research. We should be clear about the problem, we should be clear about the gap, we should be clear about the objectives, we should be clear about the goals that we want to achieve. Everything should be crystal clear. Information should be collected in a clear way. They should be interpreted in a clear way. They should be organized clearly. They should be reported clearly. So clarity, honesty, and objectivity, all these three elements, they are important. And this is why we are given these research tasks. Along with this, whenever we are conducting our researches, so the first thing and the first skill that it enhances in our personalities is the ability to locate information. Usually, most of the students, especially at undergraduate level, they do not know how to find out related material or relevant material related to a given topic. So the PhD tasks or any research tasks, they will make you locate the information at appropriate places. So this is a skill which will be enhanced through your research task. The second element and the second skill is the ability to sift out pertinent material from a mass of information. Now, you have located the information that, okay, I can find the relevant material and at this source or in the library or in this book or that book. Now, all the book may not be relevant. So you need to, there will be a lot of information available related to your PhD task, related to your thesis, related to your research paper, but you need to take out the essential and the important information which is more suitable and more relevant to your research. So there will be a hell of information available, but not everything is relevant, not everything is connected to your research. So we need to sharpen this task through this skill through our research tasks. The third element that can be, or that skill which can be polished through our research task, is the ability to acquire a thorough grasp of a limited subject area. What does it mean? It means that if I am a researcher, let's say, so I may not know everything about my topic or my area, but I must know everything about whatever I am doing in a given field. Basically, my field is linguistics. So it comes under the domain of English studies. And then it comes under the domain of language studies. So I do not know everything about language studies and English studies, but I must know everything about the topic that I have chosen. And this is why it says that you have a limited area, and you have a thorough grasp, you have everything related to whatever you are conducting your research upon. So this is another element which should be there. The fourth skill, which is sharpened through your research task, is the ability to write effectively. Now, this is again a very important skill. Not everyone can write. Not everyone understand the mechanism of writing. Not everyone understand how to interpret certain information. Not everyone understand how to organize certain information, how to report those ideas. So the research task is actually, your opportunity to write effectively, to tell people, to tell your examiners, to tell your supervisor that you know how to write, you know how to organize, you know how to carry out certain information and how to present them, according to the templates provided by, the institution or the supervisor, or as is deemed by, a given degree, at a given stage of your studies. Now, what the research task is and what it is not. this is also something important before we plunge into understand how or where we can find our research. So, in its finished form, your research paper should be the unbiased development of a thesis, right? As we have said it in the previous slide, that we should talk about anything, any idea, any phenomenon objectively. So objectivity and unbiasedness, they are both connected, and they are the same thing. So whenever you write something, it should be an unbiased development of an idea, which is carefully documented with pertinent information. You should do it really, really carefully. It should not be something random that you take information from here, a chunk of information from there, and then you just bring it together and you make it something, and you think that you have done some research. No, it's not like that. You have to take the essential information, the appropriate information, in an unbiased way, and you have to present it in an organized way, so that it should look like research. It should not look like just the collection of information and the collection of just quotations and things like that, right? All right. As the word research suggests, it means tracking down information from various sources. Perhaps the most intriguing part of preparing the paper, since you become a veritable detective of ideas. Now, look at the word research. It has got two components morphologically. Research. Search is searching, investigation. All of you, I believe, know this, the meaning of what search is. But when you say research, it means that you are tracking down, you are actually deconstructing the available corpora or the available information available in the given field. Let's say you are a student of English, or you are a student of, let's say, any other field of from sciences or social sciences. What you have to do is you have to go back, you have to take the corpora, you have to take the information, the available books, the available resources, and you have to deconstruct them. You have to break them down, and you have to find out where lies the gap. Where can I, add something more valuable which is missing from, the given corpora or the given information, the pile of information. So your job will be a kind of, like a detective. You will be acting as a detective, the detective ideas, basically. Another element is you are simply to present in cognate and lucid form the result of a focused investigation. Now, after you deconstruct the available information, then what will you do? You will go ahead. You will go ahead and you will present through your investigation in a way, your results, your ideas, which should be understandable and which should be acceptable, which should be organized, right? And they should be presented to the people, to your supervisor, to the examiners, and to the general public. You will be talking about, the results of your investigation, and you will tell the people, tell the examiners, tell the supervisor, and the general public that this was something which was missing in the already presented, present literature, and I have done this, and this is the product. Right? So your final product must be the presentation of an idea relying on other sources for explanation and persuasiveness. It should not be, something out of your stomach. Instead, you should be, taking resources from, other people, other researchers, just to make your end product, end result more appealing to the people, more acceptable to the people. Because if you say that I believe this, or I have done this, or I have done this without quoting any other, resource, and without quoting other sources, so it will be a kind of, self-proclamation, which may not be acceptable, because initially, being a researcher, nobody is the expert of the field that they are conducting their research. So to be a researcher and to give a look like a researcher, you have to bring all the informations from, all other resources available in the given field. Now, most of the times when students conduct researches and they try to write their thesis, they try to write the research papers and any other thing, they make a few mistakes, and I have just highlighted them in these five basic mistakes. Right. So in developing your paper through research, five common errors should be avoided. And what are they? They are: number first, a mass of quotations following one another. They produce choppy and undigested material. Now, what does it mean? As I've discussed in the last point in the previous slide, that you should take sources and you should take quotations from all the other researchers and other experts in the field. But this does not, entail that your research should just be the mass of quotations. You should be just quoting one person and then after another and then after another and then after another. It should not be a mass of quotations which will be following one and another. And it will feel very choppy, like you have just cut down elements from the works of others and you are just talking about them, you are just quoting them without presenting your own rationale, without talking about the explanation, without talking about the relevance to those quotes to your research and so on. So it should not be just a mass of quotations, it should be avoided in your research. Second, a summary of ideas from only one source rather than researching several sources that might varied opinions and fact give you varied opinions and facts. Yes, most often people they take one relevant research and they quote everything available in that given research thesis, and they believe that they have done something, they have conducted a very good research. So this is also not acceptable in writing your research thesis or your research paper, because it will reflect only the opinion of an individual, of one researcher, and which is again something against the ethics of research. To be to be more appealing and to be more acceptable, you need to bring varied opinions from different peoples. You need to bring different facts. Right, from different sources, just to pursue the audience and to pursue the examiners that yes, you have done something, and it is not just the summarization of the opinion of a single person or a single researcher or a single individual from any field. Right. Third element and third error which should be avoided is the mechanical and rhetorical sloppiness, which makes the paper difficult to read. Yes, very, very important thing. Most often when we write our research thesis, when we write our researches, what do? We use, a lot of mechanical terms, a lot of rhetorical terms, which are not understandable to the general public. Maybe your supervisor understands them. You yourself, being the researcher, understands, the terms, the acronyms, right, that you have used in your research. But it will make it really, really difficult for the general public. And it should be kept in mind that whenever we conduct our researches, we bear in mind the target audience. So if, let's say, you have some audience in your mind, and then you are writing something very mechanically, very rhetorically, you are using those top class, words, vocabulary, the splendid vocabulary, the flowery words. So it will be really difficult to be read and understood, and which is again something not included in the goals of your research. You are deviating from the goal, because the goal is to make the people understand, to tell the people that you have done something, and to make them understand that yes, this is something that we need to apply or we need to adopt and so on. So again, this third error should also be kept in mind. The fourth one is, we are plagiarizing passages from your research sources. Yes, again, usually this is something most of the people, they don't understand, but very important. They take things, they take quotations, and they consider them as their own. They do not, give credit to the authors of those passages, of those quotes. sometimes they just rephrase it, just change the wording of whatever the other has said, and they claim it as their own, which also is against the ethics of research, and it is something which is what we in academia we consider them as academic theft. So this should also be strictly avoided and kept in mind. The last error is the use of irrelevant material to comply with an assigned length. Now, this is something very funny. Usually different institutions, they sit different word limits at different levels and different stages of the research thesis. For example, I'll take the example of our university. We were given the task to write at least 80,000 words while compiling our research and writing our research thesis at PhD level. Now, to comply with this huge task of writing 80,000 words is not easy. So usually the students, what do they do, or the scholars, they take any information available and they just randomly put them and incorporate them in their researches. And this is something which makes the research ugly, right? Which makes the research very unclear and a very disorganized, product. So this thing should be totally avoided. Even if the task is high, if you are asked to write, let's say, 80,000 or 100,000 words, still you have to look for the relevant material and you should incorporate them in your thesis. Along with looking for the irrelevant material and just, complying with the thesis length is not something appreciated in researches. So these errors, these are a few errors which should also be avoided, before, writing your research and in your research. Now, we have a few sections in our research, and that is all of the introduction section, the literature review section, the methodology section, the discussion section, and the conclusion section. So these are basically the chapters. Now, this was just the basic introduction of what research is and how should we carry it out. Now, we will plunge into the very topic of discussion, that is how should we find our research topic. So the first and foremost important step in writing a research paper is to choose a subject narrow enough to be handled in the length assigned. Now, we are choosing a subject, but the thing is that the subject is very vast and we don't know where to start and where to stop, right? So we should bear in mind that we have a few limitations: the limitation of time, the limitation of resources, the limitation of, you can say, limits, right? As I have just mentioned in the previous slides, that you have the limitation of length, right? You need to write 80,000, so you cannot exceed that. That is the maximum limit or the minimum limit. So we need to, whenever we are deciding upon a topic, we should consider these elements, and we should take a subject which is narrow enough that can be handled in the given time, in the assigned resources and the available resources, and it should be according to the limits of the research, right? Now, do not tackle the job haphazardly. Most often what happens is that researchers, especially at graduate level, they become worried about finding their research topic, and they're out of you can say haphazardly they take a topic, and when they started it, they feel that they cannot finish it. So this is one of the elements which should be avoided. Yes, who wants to say something?
Yes, doctor. My name is Tan. Okay, I'm from Malaysia. Doctor,
Yes.
may I ask? I am attracted to the point that you mentioned just now, the plagiarisms of the research topic. So, may I know how
Mhm.
how should we determine the research topic is the origins, the originate of the research topic for our research? Like
Uh,
because due to the recent technology changing, the generation of AI have really helps a lot in performing the research and also the search of the paper. So
mhm.
how should we determine the origins of the research paper that we actually conducted, or how should we know once research is actually is origin from the researcher? Thank
All
you.
right. All right. If let me requote your question, and then let me know if I have understood it correctly or not. You want to know whether a research paper or a research topic uh, is genuine or not. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
All
How?
right. Fine. We will discuss this thing in the coming slides, but for now, for your understanding, yes, this is something we need to be talking about because the integration of artificial intelligence, the integration of technology has, jumbled the things and mixed up the things that where we are unable to distinguish between what is genuine and what is not genuine, right? But still there are again resources available, technological resources apart from human resources, which can tell you that whether a research is a genuine one or not. For example, let's say I am writing something. I'm writing something about mobile phones, right? And the same could be produced by commanding artificial intelligence Meta to write a paragraph or two about, mobile phones, right? But we have this element of humanization. We have this element of humanization whenever the artificial intelligence or the AI writes something, it writes it from its own perspective. And the perspective taken by these tools, the artificial intelligence tools, are not similar to the human mind. That is one thing. But then there are people who have made other tools which gives you the option to humanize a given text, right? So it there, when it comes to this point, things get a bit difficult. But I will say that it depends on the person's own integrity, whether he likes or dislikes, something which is not his own, which is not genuine, and he presents as his own. So it depends on his own integrity and his own, element of acceptance, I believe. Am I clear?
Yes, doctor. Exactly. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's important that we have to know that the integrity of the researcher in performing
Exactly.
their research. Yeah. And actually, yeah, the knowledge that the researcher put in the research paper is important. So
Mhm.
the integrity is determined by the researcher itself and also the reader. So
Mhm.
I'm totally agree with you, doctor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question, or should we move forward?
Yes, we can move forward, I think.
All
Because
right.
I'm so excited to know how do we start to find a good research topic, because
Mhm.
sometimes the good
Mhm.
research topic also came from the artificial intelligence sometimes. But
Mhm.
we cannot avoid of the changing of the technology, because nowadays the technology keep moving forward. So the improvement of this
You know
AI,
one
yeah.
thing, I would say that uh, if we use technology for the sake of finding a research topic, I believe it's not something bad, because these tools are made up for for assisting human beings. But taking the topic from artificial intelligence and then commanding it to produce a whole lot of thesis for you, and then presenting it as your own work and academia, it is not good. Another thing is that it is not your contribution in the first place. Second thing is that every researcher should be aware that we are not you can say um, uh, depositing any new information, because whenever artificial intelligence creates something for you, it means that the knowledge is already available, because artificial intelligence does not have its own brain, right? It works on our commands. It works on on the things that we want it to do. It does not do anything on its own. So the available information that it gives you, the thesis that it writes for you, is not something invented. In fact, it should be understood and acceptable that this was already present. The given information, the available knowledge, it was already available knowledge, because it's we, the human beings, who create new things. The artificial intelligence cannot create things for us. It can only work for us. So these are two basic differences that we need to understand. Uh, and I believe you all agree with me on this point.
Yes, totally agree. I'm so love that the doctor mentioned about the artificial have no brains. This is totally
Yes,
agree. Yeah, they
yes,
don't have the brand, but they do the only the analysis and the collective
exactly.
the data. Yeah. So
All
yeah,
right.
we cannot avoid on that because we have to move together with the changing of the technology. So
Mhm.
yeah, I totally agree with that. But somehow
All right.
the integrity of the researcher must be taken care of, and also the ethic of the research paper must
Mhm.
be have
Yes.
their own value inside the paper. So the knowledge is contributed through the hard work and also the integrity of the researcher. That's what
Mhm.
my opinion. Thank you, doctor.
Yes, you're welcome. All right. So we'll move again to the slides, and we were talking about, that when we are finding a research topic, so it should not be done haphazardly. Instead, we should go to our supervisors, and we should talk to them, and we should ask about their expectations. We should know that what they want us to do and how do they want us to conduct a given topic, a given research, right? Uh, Usually, students, this is my personal experience, at undergrad level, the students, they come to us, and then they tell us that, sir, could you please give us a topic or assign us a topic. So I reply them that, my dear, yes, I can give you a topic, but when I give you a topic, it will be the creation of my mind and not yours. So the given topic that I will assign you, how will you conduct your research when you don't know anything about, that creation? Right? So I tell them that go for yourself and search for yourself and try to choose your own topic. I can help you refining the topic, but I cannot give you the topic. I can show you the available resources. I can guide you towards the available resources. But if I give you the topic, it will be something which should be burden for you later on when you will be conducting your research, because you will be needing the frameworks for it, you will be needing the available resources for it, and then we will also be asking for how to do the interpretation part, how to do the discussion part, and how to finalize it. So it will be a lot of work for me, not for you. So I tell them that try to find your research topic for yourselves, and I can guide you, I can assist you, I can help you refining it. But if you ask me and if you expect me to give you the research topic, it will not be good. And this was my personal experience when I was deciding upon my research topic at PhD level. So I talked to my supervisor. We have had a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions. She was trying to make sure that I know everything about every relevant thing about my research. I should be very clear about my framework. I should be very clear about my methodology. I should be very clear about where should I get the resources and the codes and all the other things, the data. Once she finalized and she ensured all these elements, then she said that, okay, now you can go ahead, you are very clear. So it is not something haphazard. This is the end of the discussion, that this is not something haphazard. Instead, it is a very careful and thoughtful process. And your instructors usually they give you the freedom, they give you this thing that okay, you should go out, you should search for yourself. The whole world is at your feet, it's available there. Right, you can choose for yourself. So there is something which should be kept in mind while deciding upon your research. Now, here are some suggestions for choosing a usable or researchable topic. The first thing is that how do you choose a research topic? So broadly, we will take a general element, and then we will narrow it down to a specific idea, right? So for this general element, I have given it the name of universe. If you are a researcher and you want to conduct your research, so you have to choose a universe for yourself. For example, again, I will give you my personal example. I was student of English. I have studied English. I have studied linguistics. So my universe was the study of English, right? Or English studies in simple words. Now, the universe is really big, and I cannot cover all the galaxies and everything in the universe because if you remember in the previous slides, we have talked about length. So length, the length of your research is not to cover the whole universe, right? We need to talk about something, very specific, but we have to have this top down approach, right? We have to take something general. So I have taken the universe of English. This was my universe, but since we know that I cannot cover everything in the universe, so I have to narrow it down. And when I am narrowing it down, so I have to take a galaxy in the universe. Now, in my field, the galaxy that I have chosen was not literature, but linguistics, right? And the universe of English studies, we have these two galaxies, the galaxy of literature and the galaxy of linguistics. So I have taken the galaxy of linguistics, right? Now I know that my expertise were not good in literature, and I was a researcher and at master's level, at undergraduate level in linguistics. So I have again chosen the galaxy of linguistics. So I have narrowed it down from universe to galaxy. Now again, I knew and that we cannot cover galaxy because galaxy has billions of stars, right? So we cannot cover everything in the galaxy, so we have to narrow it down further, and we should take a star in the galaxy. So the star that I have chosen in my area was in linguistics. We have these stars, the stars of semantics, pragmatics, discourse analysis, phonetics, phonology, and all other stars are available. They are the sub-disciplines in the galaxy in the given field. So I knew that I cannot again cover all these stars. So I took one star, and that star was pragmatics, right? I took the star of pragmatic studies. Now again, pragmatics is a star. A star is again something very big, and I cannot cover all aspects of the star. So I have to narrow it down further, and I have to take an aspect of the star, and this aspect that I was choosing again was something under my command, which was something that I knew that I have command, and I know a lot of things, if not all the things, maximum of the things about this aspect. So I should try to find out gap in the and this aspect, and I should try to talk about it, and try to investigate that gap and try to sort out the gap, and try to give the end product to the people, and to contribute to the existing literature. So the aspect of star that I have taken was pragmatic losses. So as you have seen that, in the universe, I was having English studies, in the galaxies, I was having literature and linguistics. So I took linguistics, and then in linguistics, I was having a lot of stars, the stars of semantics, pragmatics, discourse analysis, phonology, phonetics, etc., etc. But I took one star, the star of pragmatics, and then I knew that I cannot cover all aspects of the star. So I took one aspect, and that was pragmatic losses. So I came from general to specific. This is something we call the top-down approach. Right? And this is how you can also find your research topic in your respective fields. I have just talked about, the field of English studies. If you are, let's say, a researcher and medicine, if you are a researcher and let's say in sciences, let's say you are conducting your research in physics. So physics is your universe, right? And then within physics, you have again different galaxies, let's say biophysics and this physics and that physics, right? So you further narrow it down to a star, and then you talk about an aspect of the star. You try to find out a gap in that star, and then you try to sort out that gap, and you try to investigate that gap, and you want to fill up that gap through your research. So this is how this process of choosing a topic and selection of a topic goes on. Uh, I believe I'm clear till this point. If you have any questions, you may ask. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, doctor. Doctor, may
Yes.
I ask, does this kind of research the technique is applicable to any kind of the research paper, like in the science or in the education or in the management of finance or accounting or engineering research? Is it relevant to applicable to all?
Yes, dear, it's applicable to all fields, all domains of research, because whenever you are conducting a research, let's say you are a student of engineering, so you will take a universe, right? And then again, that universe should be something which should be under your command, which should be relevant, which should be related to your discipline, related to your field of study, right? And within that universe, you can take up a galaxy, and then within the galaxy, you can take up a star, and then an aspect of a star. It is applicable to all domains of research. Whether it be education, whether it be social sciences, whether it should be natural sciences, physical sciences, medicine, any field. It is applicable everywhere, I believe. And if you know any field where it is not applicable, you can just mention it. So I may learn something from you people as well.
So far, no, doctor. I think it's applicable to all kind of research.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. I believe everyone is clear. So we should, just move ahead. Now, Once you have defined your universe, you have defined your galaxy, you have defined your star and then aspect of a star. Now you will, do your research. You will conduct your research, and which is not the topic of discussion here, so I'm not going to talk about it. But once you have discussed, this aspect of a star, again, what you have to do is you have found out a gap. Now, while deciding upon a topic and then refining it, what you have to do is you have to relate that aspect of a star to the very star that you have chosen. Second thing is, after you have related it to the star, you have to relate that star to the galaxy, and then the galaxy should be related to the universe. What does it mean? It means that you have found out a gap, in the aspect of a star. You have conducted your research and you want to conduct your research on that aspect. But you have to ask yourself a question. If I do this, will it be relevant to this star? That is the first question. If the answer comes yes, okay, fine. Will this aspect that I am contributing, will this knowledge that I am gonna contribute at the end of my research, that I will be contributing to the star, will this star be again fitting or relevant to the galaxy that I have chosen it from? If the answer is yes, you are on the right track. Then, once you have contributed that knowledge to the star aspect of the star, then the star, and then the galaxy, again ask yourself, will this galaxy be still acceptable in the universe that I have chosen? If the answer is yes, it means that you have found a very good researchable topic. And this is what we say the bottom up approach. You go from specifics to general. You probably have heard in researches or while studying research methodology, the deductive approach and the inductive approach. So these are actually the two approaches. They are applicable in your researches, but they are also applicable while you are deciding upon your research topic. So you have to choose an aspect of a star. You have to find a gap in that aspect. You have to fill up that gap, and then you have to relate it to the star, and then you have to relate that star to the galaxy, and then that galaxy to the universe in the field where in which you are conducting your research. So this is how the whole mechanism or the whole process goes on. Now further, when you are deciding upon a topic, we need to consider again something. And the very first thing is choose a topic that you enjoy. Now, why enjoying or enjoyable topic is important? The element is, or the reason is, if you do not choose a subject or a topic which is enjoyable, which is according to your expectations, which is according to your mindset, then it will bore you. It will make the research an intolerable task. You will, at times, you will feel like you are not doing anything. You will feel like you are, just wasting your time. You are wasting your energy in something which is not appealing to you, let alone to the audience that you are targeting. So enjoyable topic or the selection of enjoyable topic is really important. Another thing is, how can you do it? So you can browse among the library stacks, pick books that look interesting, leaf through them to discover their contents. Now, how do you, select an enjoyable topic? You can read a lot of literature in the, uh, available to you, whether it's in the libraries, whether it's online, whether it's through ChatGPT, as one of you mentioned. So you can just choose your research topic from anywhere, but whenever you are deciding upon it, you should keep this element of enjoyment, element of pleasure in mind, whether it is enjoyable to you, whether it's appealing to you or not. Another way is Check the magazine or journal regs and reference departments for subjects that arouses your curiosity. For example, there are people who are interested in reading novels. So when they will be, deciding upon their topics, and they should go to those journal sections and magazine sections and novel sections of the libraries, where they feel comfortable, where they feel relaxed. They should go there, they should search those novels, those magazines, those journals, read them, and they may possibly give them the given research topics that they are looking forward to. And It is also a point which should be noted by the supervisors, that whenever they are directing the students regarding finding a research topic, so they should asks for the interest of the students first, the supervisees first, because they will be the ones who will be conducting their researches. So knowing that what is the interest of my supervisee, what is the interest of my student, is will give you a better idea to a supervisor to direct the student towards the appropriate resources where the student can find an enjoyable topic for the research. Now, if you are interested in its topic, your research paper will seem more of a challenge than a burden. Now, why is it important to find a research, an enjoyable topic? Because it will be something of a challenge. You will feel like you are out on an adventure. You are kind of hiking on something, and it is something pleasurable. If the topic is not enjoyable, if it is not something related to your area of interest, then you will feel very burdenized. You won't feel like you are doing anything, and ultimately you may give up on your research. So enjoyable finding an enjoyable topic is also important in that context as well. Now, your chances for producing a respectable piece of work are also increased if you have some expertise in your chosen subject. And this is what we have discussed in the previous two slides. If you talk about, the universe which is of your, which comes under your expertise, then definitely you will end up finding a researchable topic which is also enjoyable. If I am, let's say, directing towards a field of research or a resource which does not come under, let's say, my expertise, so definitely I may find a researchable topic, but it will not be enjoyable because I will not be having expertise. I will not be on my own. I will not be the driver of my research. On and off, I will be seeing my supervisor and the potential people from whom I may be taking guidance from, and this may put extra burden on my supervisor as well as on the people that I am seeking guidance from. So whenever we are trying to decide upon a topic, we can make it enjoyable only if we take an area of our expertise, the universe of our expertise, the galaxy of our expertise, the star of our expertise, and the aspect of star of our expertise. Through this way, we can have an enjoyable topic, and we can end up finding an enjoyable topic for our research. Then another very important element is the narrowness. And this is the very basics that we have been discussing for in the last 4 or 5 slides, that we need to take something which is narrow enough, which can be easily handled in the assigned time, through the assigned and available resources. So narrowness of a topic is really important. Now, the choice of too broad a topic can cause student, paper, and instructor to founder in a bog of unassimilated facts, misunderstood notions, and irreconcilable theories. Right? That will be the first cons of your research. It will be the very first disadvantage of your research. If you choose let's say, a galaxy, and you try to talk about the galaxy, so your ideas will be very misplaced, very disorganized. It will be something very burdensome, right? You will feel burdened. Your research paper or your thesis will feel very choppy. It will not be an organized product in the end. So this is why we need to, find a narrow topic for our researchers. Another thing is we should avoid such gargantuan topics such as the history of the feminist movement, the great opera singers of the world, the career of Napoleon Bonaparte, reasons for wars, the history of the Renaissance. These are a few, potential broad topics that I have given you. They are very generalized, and if you want to talk about them, there can be you can write books upon books, and there will still be gaps that you may not fill up. So this is why we need to avoid these obscure and broader topics. Yes, someone has raised the hand.
Yes,
You
yes,
wanted?
yes. Yes,
Mhm.
sir. Sorry for interrupting.
It's okay.
If I may know, just now you mentioned to narrow down the research topic, right? So,
Mhm.
can you advise us what is the ideal length for a good research topic? I mean, the length of the research topic would be good for us to perform the research topic. I mean, the potential of the research topic length
All
for
right.
one research topic. Yeah.
All right. It's a very good question, but I believe you are mixing two things. Now, one is the length of research topic. Another is the narrowness of research topic. These are two different things. I will, clarify both of them. The length of research topic, as far as it is concerned, it depends again on the policies of the university. Usually at graduate level, most of the universities, they have this policy that the length of the research topic should not exceed 18 words, right? That I'm talking about the length of the research topic. But here, in the slides, we are talking about the narrowness of the topic, right? On the one hand, we have length. So you can have, according to most of the universities, you can have maximum 18 to 20 words, keywords, and your research topic. But when we talk about narrowness, so here by narrowness, I mean the very idea behind on which you are working on, let's say. If you can see here the history of the feminist movement, now these are just 4 5 words, keywords, right? History, feminist, and movement, three keywords. But these three words, all of them, history again, if we take this one word, it carries encyclopedias behind it. Are you following my point? It is not narrow. Similarly, when we talk about feminist, so feminism is a movement, and it again carries encyclopedias behind it. Similarly, when we talk about movements, so there are hundreds of movements if we look through the history. So this is again, these are only three words, three keywords, but they are not narrow. They are very, very broad. History is a universe on its own. Feminism is let's say a galaxy on its own. A moment is again a galaxy on its own. So how can a person, be able to deal with these universes and galaxies, and let's say in a research which only spans around 3 years, let's say, which is the minimum time for a PhD research. Definitely you cannot handle it. So this is what I mean by the term narrowness, the element of narrowness. On the one hand, we have the length of the research topic. On the other hand, we have the narrowness of the topic. And these two are, not dependent on each other. You can have so many keywords, but they are relevant to each other. They are related to each other. You have 20 words in a research topic, but they are narrowed enough. They are talking about only an aspect of a star. So that is acceptable. But if you have only these three words, let's say your research topic is the history of the feminist movement. Now, this is, only three words, but they will, if you want to accommodate it and you want to finish it in those 3 years, you will not be able to do so. Even you will not be able to answer the question related to the history, let alone talking about feminism and movement. I believe I'm clear. Is it clear?
Yes, doctor, I appreciate that. Thank you very
Uh,
much.
all right. Any other questions? All right, let's move ahead. Now, if you have a general subject in mind, but not a narrow enough application of it to fit into a paper, you should begin to browse in the subject area. What does this mean? It means the same as we have discussed previously. You have taken up, a universe. You are clear about that you want to, let's say, conduct your research and management sciences, let's say, or you want to conduct your research in linguistics, or you are clear about, conducting your research and, let's say, political science or any other, field of study. You are clear about it, but you are not clear which aspect of that star should you take. Now, there is the point where you start browsing, where you start researching, where you start going to the literature, to the available resources, and trying to deconstruct the available resources and try to dig out and find where lies the gap, what should be something new that you can contribute to the existing knowledge through your expertise in that to that given field, right? So that is the point where you search, and with the search, with the research, and with the digging out, with the deconstruction of the available corpora, the available knowledge, you can find out where lies the gap, and that gap can be further narrowed down to a specific aspect of the star, as we have mentioned previously, and you can talk about it as per your research requirements, right? Eventually, what will happen? Some suitably narrow aspect of the subject will catch your interest and lead you to a topic for the paper, and this is what we have just discussed. Now, the question is, how can we limit and narrow our topic? You know, it is again, most of you people will be asking. So we are going to discuss now. But before we talk about it, we have to keep in mind two things. In fact, three things. One is called limitations. The other is called delimitations, and the last one is narrowing. Right? So narrowing is dependent on limitation and delimitation. Narrowing is dependent on limitations and delimitations of your research. Now, we need to understand the phenomenon of limitation and delimitation. Limitations are the things which goes beyond your control, the control of a researcher. For example, I wanted to conduct, let's say, a research uh, on, let's say, 5 books, right? But finding out those 5 books related to any field, you can take this example and you can apply it to your respective fields. So I wanted to or I want to find conduct my research on 5 books, but I know that conducting my research on these given 5 books is is not applicable. It is not practical. Why? Because I have only 3 years, and within these 3 years I can only talk about 2 books, the maximum, right? So this, selection of this population is beyond my limitation, right? It is not under my control, because the time is limited by whom? By the institution. And I have to stick to the time schedule of the provided by the institution. Secondly, another limitation could be that I want to conduct my research, let's say, in the United States of America. on anything, let's say on their population, on, let's say a given phenomenon, let's say their ideologies about, Muslims or Christians or any other thing, or their perception about the ongoing conflicts throughout the globe, right? So I want to collect data from American people, but the limitation is I do not have the money to travel to United States of America. So that these are, the things which are not in my control. They are the limitations of my research, right? Then, along with this, we have the element of delimitation. Delimitation is something which is in my control, which is under my control, but I feel that if I do it, it may be good, but if I don't do it, it may not be as resourceful. For example, I will take the example of my research. When I was, conducting my research and I have decided upon the data, I have taken actually two English translations of the Holy Quran, right? So I took them, and then my supervisor told me that, dear, you should take three translations instead of two. You should, expand, the data. I said, okay. And then she suggested me that then she suggested that the data that I will be, talking about, or the translation that I will be talking about, one of the translations should be from, Malaysian translator. Uh, so what happened is, hello, excuse me for, the interruption. Uh, so my supervisor told me that, you should take three translations, and one of the translators should be Malaysian. I tried to find one, but I couldn't. And the other reason was that I did not, even if I could have found one, I may not have included that Malaysian translator in my research, the data of that translator in my research. The reason is that, uh, it will it would have expanded my research, which was, which would have been something unmanageable for me. So this is why I talked to my supervisor and I told her that, ma'am, I even if I incorporate the data from the third translator into my research, uh, it will not be manageable, and it will go beyond the length and limit of my research. So I delimited my research to those two, translators. Further, as you know, the Holy Quran, it is a very huge book, and it has many chapters. Uh, and taking all those chapters, data from all those chapters, was again not possible for my research. So I delimited my research to only one chapter of that book. And I took the translations of, that one chapter, and I conducted my research on that, on that chapter. So the crux or the summary of this discussion is that there are limitations to your research, which goes beyond your control, that you cannot control them, and then there are things which are under your control, and we call them, delimitations. And these two things, they are related to narrowing your research topic. How it is related, let's read. Perhaps your, most difficult problem with research will be narrowing your topic. You may indeed have chosen a topic that interests you. It will be enjoyable for you, but which is better suited for a longer work. Now, suppose if I have, taken all the chapters of the holy book, it would have taken me more than 3 years to talk about them and to incorporate them in my research. So it may be appropriate, might have been appropriate, but which would need more time, more resources, and more ideas, I should say, more theoretical frameworks, and many other things. So you need to narrow your research topic, you need to limit it and delimit it. Perhaps even a book lengthy study, right? Book length study, it might take you there. You may be forced to write a book then, if you choose a topic which is broader enough and which is not narrowed down. Then these problems sometimes occur when you select a topic that is unfamiliar. Now, while deciding upon a topic, you may end up, selecting a broader topic, usually when you are not expert of the given field, of the given universe, of the given galaxy again, of the given star, and of the given aspect of the star. So you may end up, choosing a topic which is quite broader, which is quite lengthy, and which is quite unmanageable at a given time for you. It can be limited by general reading and the area. Now, how can you limit it? You can just read and read and read, and that general area, and that area of your expertise, and you can easily decide upon your topic, a narrowed topic, I believe. For example, you want to write a research paper on Mark Twain, right? This is one of the novelists. With a little effort, it can be narrowed to satire in Mark Twain, or satire in Mark Twain's early works, or further satire in Mark Twain's early journalism. This is how you narrow it down. This is called limiting or narrowing the topic. Now, this may also happen if the topics are provided by the supervisor. Usually when the supervisors, they provide you the topics, so they keep this thing in mind, they keep the element of time, they keep the element of resources, they keep the element of length in their mind, and then they assign the topics to their supervisees. Most often, the topics given for research offer only suggestions. It is up to you to assume a position. Now, again, one thing should be clear here, clarified here, that when the supervisors, they give you a topic or they assign you a topic, they offer you, those topics are not finalized. They are just suggestions. It's you in the end who will be deciding, who should be, the deciding factor. It will be you who will be, taking up a position to, talk about that topic, refine that topic, and make it a manageable, make it or convert it to a manageable and researchable topic through your position that you have taken for that given topic. Assuming a position on any topic narrows the subject and sharpens the focus. Now, what will be the benefit if you take a position? It will benefit you in two ways. Number first, it will make you narrow the topic. And second thing, it will make you focus the key elements, focus on the goals, focus on the outcome. So these are the two key benefits when you take the position, a position on a given topic. The stand taken becomes the thesis, and it becomes the research title. It then becomes the purpose of writing. It also becomes the purpose, and the details and evidence leads to that conclusion. So this is how the whole mechanism of research works. Now, here are some of the examples of how can we narrow a broader topic into a narrower topic. So if you can see here, we have the Russian Revolution, right? That is a broader topic. Then we have narrowed it down to the Tsar's family during the Russian Revolution 1917. This is a narrow topic. We have the element of revolution, Russian Revolution, but it is, we have delimited it to the Tsar family in 1917, right? Then we can further narrow it down. The fate of the Grand Duchess Anastasia during the 1918 Extenburg massacre, right? So now this is, a further narrowed version of the Russian Revolution, which was the broader topic. You can see it here. The second topic is, you can see, is whales. Now, whales is, a very broader topic. Which kind of whales are we talking about? Blue whales, we are talking about orcas, we are talking about dolphins whales, many things are there. Now, if we want to, narrow it down, And what about the whales, by the way? So the extinction of whales. Now there is a narrow topic, right? And if we want to further narrow it down, we can say the ecological extension of the blue whales, right? Broadly, we have whales. Now we have the extinction, and then we have the ecological extension. We have taken the aspect of extension, which was related to ecology. And then we were not talking about all kinds of whales. Instead, we have again delimited it, the study, to the blue whales. So this is how you narrow the broader topic into a narrower topics. So you can see here whales, as we have mentioned previously, is, let's say, is your galaxy. The extinction of whale is, let's say, your universe, your star. And then the narrower topic is the ecological extinction of the blue whales. It is that aspect of the star. And if you want to, now you will be asking what will be the universe. So let's say marine life is the universe. So marine life is the universe. Whales is, the galaxy, right? The extinction of whale is, the star. And then the ecological extinction of the blue whale is that aspect of the star that you are trying to explore or you want to talk about, right? Then we have another one where we can talk about the broader topic is the American poets. And then you take one poet from those all the American poets, let's say Edgar Allan Poe. This is one of the poets. And then you further narrow it down to the beauty that theme and Edgar Allan Poe's poetry. So you have further narrowed it down. Similarly, another topic can be the Dark Ages. Then you can narrow it down to the advancement of learning during the Dark Ages. Now you are talking about an aspect, and then you can further narrow it down to the influence of scholasticism and the advancement of learning in the Dark Ages. So you have further narrowed it down, and same is the last example. So these are a few examples that I wanted to share with you, that how can you take a broader topic and then you can narrow it down, and you can further narrow it down to a chunk, a manageable research work. Now, point is, choosing an obscure topic. Now, what do we mean? Usually, the students or the scholars, they come up and they come up with topics which are really obscure, which are really vague, which are not leading anywhere, which are not leading them to, to any end product, which do not have any specific goals. So we need to, avoid these kind of topics which are obscure and which are, uh, kind of vague, which are unclear, which are not giving us any goals, which are not, contributing to the existing literature. So we need to, try to avoid them. Now, once you have, done all these things, you have searched the resources, you have found out the universe, you have found out the galaxy, you have found out the star, you have found out the aspect of the star, and then you have found out, gap in that aspect. You have, highlighted that gap. You have narrowed that gap down further into a manageable research work. Now the job is to write a thesis statement, which is basically the research title. So how do we do it? After the broad topic has been narrowed to a manageable one, it is time to find or write the thesis. The thesis is a sentence that summarizes what the research is about, right? So basically, your research title, the title of your research paper, the title of your research thesis is, something which will be summarizing and which will be telling the audience what your research is about, right? So the titles we usually, you might have observed this thing in your studies. Whenever we are reading or we are buying a book, we read the title. If the title is catchy, if the title is appealing, we buy it. The reason is it tells us all the key ideas which may have been discussed in that book, or in that journal or in that magazine, and so on, right? And the writer declares the purpose of the research. to support or oppose an issue, to explain a process. So your research thesis will be declaring the purpose of your research, that what are you doing or what have you done. Similarly, it will be either supporting or opposing an issue, an idea, a stance, etc. And it will also be talking about the process. For example, it can say that an investigation, it can use such words, it can use the words analysis, right? And it can also, bring up or, incorporate or have this element of, the discussion of methodology. For example, my research was a linguistic analysis. So it was, I was talking about the process, a linguistic analysis. So your research thesis, or your research statement, which is the title of your research, will be talking about the purpose of your research. It will be either taking, supporting, or opposing an issue, and it will also be talking about the process through which you have conducted your research or you are conducting your research. Now, the declaration of purpose guide the writer's efforts and prepare the reader for the content of the research report, right? When you propose the purpose of your research, so it guides the people who will be reading your research, that okay, this person has done this, and or he wants to do this and this and this, right? Now, what are the qualities of a good research statement or a good title? So the first thing is that the thesis or the title should be predicting, right? It should be predicting. Predicting what? Predicting many things. For the thesis to predict, it must assert a proposition that is discussable, right? And then when carefully planned, your research thesis should predict the general direction in which your research will move and should dictate what sort of explanation or evidence you must provide. Your thesis will be predicting the direction on which you will be going. For example, my research statement was, translation, loss in translation, a linguistic analysis of the translation of Barbarian and Taqi Usmani. So this statement was, giving direction to me as well as to the readers, that I will be talking about losses in translations, and I will be talking about the linguistic process. So it was predicting all these things. And same should be the case of your research title, same should be the case of your research thesis. Whenever you are, deciding upon your research title, so you should choose a research topic which is predicting, or and which is guiding towards the general direction of your research. However, the thesis should not express a truism, rather, it must contain a discussable assertion. For example, you can say a relationship exists between excessive eating and gaining weight, right? There is, one of assertions which you can make in your research title. Now, through this will predict and this will guide you as well as the readers, that what have you done? You are actually trying to establish the relationship between excessive eating and gaining weight. These are the two variables that you have discussed. And now, throughout your research, you will be talking about only these two variables and their dependency on each other. Similarly, another assertion that you can talk about is rich people usually living in big houses. Now, you can either agree to this, or disagree. You can take a position where you can agree to this, statement, or you can disagree. And throughout your research, you will be talking about it, that whether rich people really live in big houses, or this is just a general perception, a false perception, about rich people from the common people, from the people who live, who are part of the lower class or lower middle class. In our country, movie stars are greatly admired. Now, this is again a general statement. You can either oppose it, or you can either, admit it or endorse it. So through your research, you will be, answering these questions. Probably you will be collecting data from people, and through the data, you will show that whether they are really admired or not. Now, so this was all about, the predictability of your, research statement. Another element is that your thesis statement should do is that it should control. The thesis controls how. Another important function of the thesis is to control the direction of the essay, the direction of your research. The thesis tells the writer what to do. For example, I have taken this, this assertion that great movie stars are really admired in our country. So now I will be talking about them. I will be talking about only the movie stars. I'll not be talking about, cricket stars or any, other stars from any other industry, which will not be part of my research. So this is how, the thesis statement or the title it controls. It also establishes the subtopics of the essay, the subtopics of your research, in order they should be discussed, right? For example, the admiration of, uh, movie stars in my country. So, who are movie stars? This is one of the subtopics. Admiration, what is admiration? That is another subtopic. What is a movie star? Another subtopic, and so on. So your thesis statement can also give you the subtopics of your research and as well as the order and the organization in which those subtopics can be discussed in the thesis. Let's say today religion is no longer the uncontested center and ruler of human life because Protestantism, science, and capitalism must have brought about a secularized world. Now, this is one of the thesis statement, and it talks about religion. It talks about uncontested center. It talks about human life. It talks about Protestantism, which again is part of religion. It talks about science, capitalism, and it talks about secular world. So this is a thesis statement which can be talked about, uh, and this way in your research, and it will look very organized, it will look very suitable, and it will be very appealing to the readers, and they will understand that okay, here we have the discussion between science, Protestantism, human life, and the involvement of science and secular world. So even from the very title, the learners or the readers, they will understand what has been done in the given thesis. Inherent in this thesis is the structure of the essay, right? As we have already discussed. Here it is. Here it is its implicit order of, or of the topic. Now, the thesis controls a description of the medieval society when religion was the center of human existence, right? So this is the subtopic that you can discuss. Then an explanation of how Protestantism secularized the world. If we talk about that thesis statement, that is another element. The third is an explanation of how science secularized the world, right? The fourth is an explanation of how capitalism secularized the world, right? So this is the pattern. These are the subtopics that you can discuss in your research in an organized way, and you can talk about them in a detailed way. You can talk about, these things from different perspectives, from different resources. Now, the advantage of a structured thesis is twofold. There are two advantages. The first is it commits the writer during the pre-writing stage. Before a single paragraph is written, the writers know what the kind of supporting details is needed. Now, when you have such a thesis statement, what will happen? You will know that what am I supposed to do? What kind of resource do I need? What kind of supporting details I need? For example, let's say if we say a description of medieval society when religion was the center of human existence. So I need here, and this subtopic, I need to have resources from medieval society. I need to have the description of that society. I need to have the status of resources related to religion in that society. Uh, you know, uh, and I need to talk about the status of human existence in that society and that medieval society. So these are the resources that I will be needing, and it is very clear and clarified by my research topic, and I can easily access that. Secondly, if you look at the second subtopic, an explanation of how Protestantism secularized the world. So here I know that I need explanation to the relationship between Protestantism and secular world. So all the resources, all the data available related to Protestantism and secular world, I may take quotes and data and supporting details from there. So this is the first advantage. The second is the thesis controls the actual development of the essay. The writer knows that there are four specific topics to cover in specific order, right? So we know, being the researchers, you will know that what are the topics, the specific topics that you need to cover, and which order you need to cover them. So this is why writing a good research topic and title is important. Now, the research or the thesis obligates. When a researcher or a writer strays from the thesis, the result is often vague and focused writing. Now, the research thesis or the title will obligate you. It will bind you to do your research in the given field, right? And do not move away from what you are supposed to do. For example, as we have talked about secular world, we have talked about Protestantism, we have talked about religion, and so on. So that thesis, let's say if I bring economy to this field and I talk about the status of economy, and I talk about the upper and lower class, and that thesis, it means that I have deviated from my way. I have deviated from the title. I have deviated from the established, pattern that I have decided or chosen for myself. So the research will, or the research title or thesis will obligate you, it will bind you to hard and fastly follow what you have discussed or what you have mentioned in your title. If this thesis is structured, it guides the writer and checks them whenever they stray, right? So whenever you feel like you are not giving or going in the right direction, you are not moving in the right direction, what you have to do is go and look at your title. If you feel that whatever you are doing in your thesis is related to and directly or indirectly related to your research title, it means that you are going on the right direction. But if you feel that you are not following that pattern, if you are not talking about those keywords, talking about those elements that you have discussed in the research title, then it means that you are moving away. So you need to again you need to reverse, and you need to put yourself back on track, on the track of your research title. However, the wording of the research thesis or the research title must be so that it obligates the writer to write about a single issue, right? You should not be talking about many ideas at the same time. The thesis should be written in such a way, the title should be written in such a way which should be talking about a very focused idea, a very focused perception, a very focused topic. It should not be talking about many things at the same time, because it will be something again random, and people may not like it. The examiners may not like it, and ultimately it may deprive you of your degree. So the summary of the process. Here is a summary of the process you should use to find a thesis. Number first, think about the subject area and jot down your ideas, questions, and speculations. Choose the one idea from this list that most appeals to you. Second, narrow the topic further by again thinking about it and writing down your ideas. From this list, select the narrowed ideas that you would like to write about, that you would like to research about, that you feel that they are researchable. And third, ask yourself a question about the narrowed topic and give several answers. The best answer to this question will be your thesis, right? If you have chosen a topic, talk about it. How can answer? I answer it, and the best answer that you get for yourself may be the potential research thesis or the research title of your research. Now, here we have a checklist of evaluating potential topic. If you have, let's say, several potential topics that you are considering and you would like to narrow the list to those with the most potential, this checklist could be very helpful. Match each of the topic to the list and eliminate temporarily topics that produce the most no answers on those criteria that you feel are important, right? So those receiving the most yes answers could be explored in more depth. This process might save you the time of thoroughly researching each topic in order to make a final selection. And what is that checklist? We have these general questions. So the first question you should ask when you have jotted down a few potential topics, the first question that you should be asking about all those topics is this topic the one that I can narrow and scope to produce a manageable research project? If the answer is yes to any of it, just say yes, right? Then you should ask another question. Is this topic of current interest in my field of study? Is it something interesting? Is it of current interest? Is it really a gap? If the answer is yes, go ahead. If the answer is no, then leave it aside. Question number 3. Will this topic make a specific contribution to the knowledge as defined by my research committee or potential chairman? If the answer to this question is yes regarding a given research topic, go ahead. If the answer is no, leave it aside. Number 4. Can I visualize what work will I have to do during the entire research effort from the proposal to the defense? If you can visualize the type of work that you will do regarding a research topic, the answer is yes, go ahead. If the answer is no, leave it aside. Think about another topic. Question number 5. Can I draft a tentative table of contents for the final report? It is here at this point you are just imagining, you are trying to find out whether you have the potential answers or not. If the answer to this fifth question is yes, go ahead. If the answer is no, then put it aside. We have some more questions. Question number 6 is the topic that will have general applicability? Is it applicable? That is it broad in its implication and impact? For example, I am conducting my research. Let's say I have conducted my research in translation studies, but before deciding that, I have thought about its general applicability, and I knew that it is generally applicable. Why? Because I was talking about the pragmatic losses, and I knew that by highlighting those losses in these translations will not only guide the translators but will also aware the general public about the potential losses, about the loss of meaning, and they will be careful while reading those translations. So you should also ask from yourself about that topic, whether is there any general applicability or not. Question number 7. Has this topic received only minimal coverage in the journals and in the related academia research? It is about the potential of your research topic, whether it has been previously explored or not. This is what it means. If the answer is yes, go ahead. If the answer is no, then leave it aside. Question number 8. Can I visualize all major problems that I might encounter, and do I have any possible solutions to those problems? So by asking these questions and the likes that we have in these coming slides, if you have those answers, and if the answers are yes, it means that you have a very good research topic, which is binding, which is predicting, which is controlling, which is obligating. So the answer is yes, you can go ahead, and that is a very appropriate and a very good research topic for your research thesis, for your research paper, for your term paper, and so on, and at whatever level of study you are. So I believe that's all about it. The rest is just a summary. We have already discussed it. Uh, so I have this flow chart for a research proposal. I'll share it with you people. Uh, and now we are into question and answer sessions. If you have any questions, you may ask. We have only 15 minutes. So, any questions from you people? We can discuss. Hello.
Yes, yes, yes. Listen, listen.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh, yes, Nurul, I cannot read your whole name, and the one who has just
Yes, yes, clear, clear. I may understand.
yes,
Thank
okay.
you. Yes, understand.
Yeah, doctor, if
Mhm,
I may, ask, does just now you mentioned about the limitation, narrowing, and also the delimitation. Can
mhm,
I say the delimitation is something like a recommendation or the FRIN? Further research is needed for in a research paper.
mhm.
Can I say
Uh,
that the delimitation?
no, no, you cannot say it in that way, but yes, it is, a kind of gap that you leave. Yes, it can be considered a kind of gap. For example, as I mentioned, that my supervisor wanted me to include a translator from Malaysia, right? But I couldn't do it. And I mentioned that this is one of the delimitation that I have delimited my research to only two translators and I have named them, right? And I said that, apart from them, there are many other translators who can be explored and who can be discussed. So, in the suggestion part, yes, you can suggest, uh, you can tell them that this is a potential research gap, but we usually mention them in the delimitation section.
Okay. Is it a compulsory in each of the research
It depends on you. It depends again on
research topic?
the university. Yes, and it is also dependent on the policies of the of the institution, whether they would want you to have this portion of delimitation in your research, and some there are times where they do not want. So it depends. Yeah.
All right, it's clear. Thank you. Doctor, can we have the slide of this presentation because some of the point is so useful and important for us during doing the research. Can I have a copy of this slide?
Yes, I will try to share this these slides in the group, and you can download it, or I will forward it to to the university, and they may share the resource with you people. Yeah.
All right. Can I put my email so that you can send to me also? I put in the chat box there my email
Okay,
address.
okay, sure. You
It will
can,
make it easier. Yeah. So I put my email there right now. Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor.
you're
I
welcome.
already put my email there. But this slide is really helpful and really fruitful to us as a student to perform the research for looking for a good research topic and research proposal.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
really helpful.
I believe so that they might benefit you in the longer run in your research journeys.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Is there anyone who wants to ask any question or Was I more than clear?